Hello everyone and welcome to the 5th round of FIDE World Cup 2025. We have quarterfinals, second game, and let's see how they went. So, first thing I want to show you is Jose Martinez Alcantara versus Vachier Sindarov. What's interesting about this game? Guess what? They finished with 100% accuracy from both sides. 100%. Like, I can show you right now. Look at this. If you scroll 100% for both players. Of course, that's theoretical line, as you might already understand, but let's see how it went. So, 4 knights, not the main opening as per, let's say, white, as opposed to playing Rai Lopez, as opposed to playing still Italian game. He played 4 knights just to kind of maybe avoid some fury. So, knight d4 was played. That's a very well-known line. Bishop c4, bishop c5, knight d5, queen e7, knight f3, and d5. And both players knew the theory pretty well. 100 accuracy, come on, man. Bishop g4, d3, and yes, from now on it's just a forced draw. Rook e8, c3, knight f3, g takes f3, queen h4. So here the idea is f takes g4, rook e3. So king has to move to d2, rook e3, rook sacrifice. Brilliant. So 2 brilliants by black, rook d5 and then rook e3. And f takes f3, queen f2, king c1, bishop f3, attacking queen, attacking rook. So yeah, if let's say they make one wrong move, they might still lose the game, but of course players know the theory pretty well. Queen a1, bishop h1 takes, queen a2, attacking the pawn on d3, and now a4, king d3, king c4, and there is no way to basically escape, because let's say p3, there is queen c3 and then bishop d4, so there's still some potential to lose the game as white. And if king goes to a3, I think bishop c5, just mate is about to follow takes, king a2, queen c4, bishop comes again to d4, queen b4, it would be game over. So king b1, free fall repetition, as you might see by looking at the clock. 133 for black and 135 for white pieces. So we move on to the next game between Arjun Erigaisi and Wei Yi, and this is where Arjun got some chances. Knight d2, knight d7. Knight d7 was a blunder, because now after knight b3, which was played by Arjun, there is some pressure. So bishop c3, d takes c3, rook c3, and now as opposed to playing king d2, there was very strong bishop d5 option. And if let's say rook c1, you just take the queen, right? And if queen c8 takes, and then bishop b7, white pick up a pawn. I'm not sure what Arjun was missing here. It looks like a free pawn to me, but yeah, I don't know. He missed something clearly. Rook c1, bishop d5, but I still think he got some pressure on Wei Yi here. Rook d8, queen b2, but it just wasn't enough. And after rook d2, players agreed to a draw. So yeah, he missed a chance. Could have done better, but yeah, they are heading to tiebreaks, as well as Jose and Sindarov. So the third game of today's video is Andrei Sipenko versus Sam Shankland. Here Sam, I think, surprised Andrei with d6, as d6 is not usually played on high level. And many commentators were shocked, even though I think nowadays it doesn't really depend on what opening you play. Unless you know a lot of stuff, you will be fine. Or, I mean, and the opposite might happen. You might not know some stuff and then be completely lost, let's say, in 10 moves. And that sometimes happens even on the elite level of these players. But of course here, bishop e6 takes, d4. Yes, white get a very pleasant position right away, but it's not enough. Castle, king b1, symmetrical position, rook f1. And even in this game, like, you know, it's just zeros till the very end. So players try to shuffle for a round, and yeah, at some point it just became super equal. Bishop b2 takes, and now just, you know, you just gotta make a draw basically. Takes, king c2. Yes, white have a better structure, but it's really hard, I think, to take advantage of this isolated pawns. So e5, and he now gets rid of one of those. Takes, and yeah, now it's a draw. So players agreed to a draw, And at the time I'm recording this video, the game between Alexander Donchenko and Nadirbek Yakuboyev is still ongoing. Nadirbek, I think, had chance earlier in this game, so here he should have played rook e8. Once again, it's not something very obvious. With the idea, I think, of knight b5 and taking the pawn on e3. So there's also rook b5, which looks logical and which was played in the game, but apparently after rook g2, for whatever reason, it just becomes equal, and he didn't really got a chance. But again, he only needs a draw. He was the only one to defeat his opponent in the first leg, so now he has to make a draw with black in order to go to the semifinals. Yes, and yeah, it's comfortable position for black. Some pressure, yes, but it's likely to finish in a draw. Okay, he's a pawn up. Alexander is a pawn up, but it's tough to win the second game, considering that now those two pawns are basically falling. And as you might already see, let's say rook f3 into rook f4, players can already probably, I mean, king f3, rook g4, and I think the game should end in a draw very quickly, meaning that Nadirbek Yakuboyev is likely to advance to the semifinals, and 3 pairs will be heading to tiebreaks tomorrow. So it's a lot of fun. It's getting close to the semifinals, so let's see how it goes. I'll see you tomorrow after the tiebreaks. Bye bye.